Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves Radio. My name is Ma1ne, and I'm here once again with my co-host, Poetic Snake.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing fine. How are you doing, Maine?
I'm doing wonderful. It's still winter and still snowing here, but I'm here. I'm hoping the power doesn't go out during this show right now because we're getting some pretty crazy freezing rain right now, but fingers crossed we'll be all right. But welcome to the show, everybody. It's great to have you here. Again, this is the Steem Radio Show here on MSP Waves, which of course is part of the Minnow Support Project. You can find the full schedule of all the radio shows at mspwaves.com. Wonderful to have you here with us. It's April 4th, 2018, and we are live right now, and we are chatting with the audience in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty Discord server, which is the home of the Minnow Support Project and MSP Waves, where you can chat with us live during the broadcast. So head on over to Discord chat, join us in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty server, and we are in the MSP Waves audience chat room right now, and I see lots of people in here already, which is great to see.
Yes, come people, show some hands, give us a wave so that we know that you're in here.
This show airs every Wednesday from 10 to midnight UTC time here on MSP Waves Radio. And what this is a talk show where we chat with different members from the Steem community. People from varying experience levels and from all over the world, all from different places. We have chatted with dozens now of different Steemians from all over the world. And let's see here. I'm seeing lots of names in the chat room right now. Shout out to all of you. It's great to see you all here. Of course, shout out to Petchy and everybody at MSP Waves for getting us on the air tonight. Great to see new faces and new people joining the radio station, helping out. That's wonderful to see. Snekky, how are you doing? What have you been doing lately on your Steem blog, or you've been taking a little break lately? It seems like a lot of people have been kind of taking a break lately.
Yes, I've been very, very busy outside of Steemit as well. So my one project, You Got Snacked, is put on pause for a few weeks. But I'm going to bring it back, of course, because it's a wonderful project to do. It's a curation project. And at the moment, I am focusing on my arts. I'm learning how to use charcoal. And I am actually learning how to get myself totally covered in charcoal. It's rather fun.
Yeah, I've been seeing the drawings that you've been posting doing the charcoal, and that's pretty cool that you're sharing those on Steemit, because I'm sure is it challenging for you to kind of try different ways to make art, that you're not normally used to?
Yes, absolutely. If you do something over and over again, it starts to become this automatic pilot thing, and you learn new tricks and tips, and it becomes normal. And when you start something new, you have to start from scratch, finding out how something works, what you can do with it. And I like it. It triggers new things in my brain. It keeps me focused more as well, because I have to, focus deeply on what I'm doing instead of just doing what I normally do.
Yeah, and it is always good to try new things, and even if it's an existing hobby that you already do, just kind of change it up a little, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I always enjoy trying out new things. When it comes to crafting or drawings, everything I see I need to do. I bought stones, a set of stones, and you can make mandalas on it with paint and a special pen. So I'm gonna do that as well. I just need to do it. If I see it, I need to do it.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. It's always good to try new things. And yeah, I've just been trying to maybe post some different pictures and stuff lately. I've been super crazy busy as well. I know we both been really busy lately.
Yeah, I sometimes wish I had 37 hours in a day, but you know, uh, you need time to relax and um, next to, I mean, being on Steemit and Discord is amazing. You meet all these great people, but it's also important to focus on the things that's not online, otherwise you will have to work even harder in your real life to get that back on track. So every now and then I just like to take a little break, mostly a week, sometimes a few days, and gets you back to where you were.
Absolutely, nothing wrong with that. But again, everybody, this is the Steem Radio Show. We chat with different members of the Steem community each and every week here on the show. And again, it doesn't matter what your experience level is on the blockchain. You could be someone who's brand new. You could be somebody who's a witness, or somebody who's been here for a really long time, or somewhere in between. We're happy to chat with all of you out there on the Steem blockchain and in the community. So if you want to hop on the show sometime with us, certainly let us know. Just send myself, Main Event, a message on Discord, or Poetic Snake, either one of us, and we'll have a chat with you and see if we can get you on the show sometime. And Snekky, before we get going too far, do you want to do the disclaimer, yes, or do you want me to do it?
I can't play it, so
I'll play your little message here really quick before we get going.
Okay, I will put my headphones off. You are listening to the Steem Radio Show on MSPWaves. Everything you hear on this show is our opinion only, and should not be taken as financial advice or advice of any kind. This show is strictly for entertainment purposes only. MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station. The material on the Steem Radio Show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research.
Absolutely.
Yes, doing your own research. That is the most important thing you can do.
This is all just our opinions, folks. So we're here to have a good time, though, with you. It's great to have you with us here on MSPWaves Radio. Again, you can catch the full schedule of all the different shows right on MSPWaves.com. Tons of different shows on the station now. All kinds of new people joining and getting new shows, new programs. So see the full schedule again at MSPWaves.com. All right. Got a bunch of people in the audience. I think we're ready to get going. Don't you think so, Snack?
I don't know. Do you think we are?
I think so.
I think we have a few cool guests.
Absolutely. Let's bring our first guest onto the show. Welcome Joe Chipetta to the show. Welcome, sir.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Hello, Joe. It's so nice to meet you.
Great to have you here with us, Joe. Why don't you tell us, if you don't mind, what country are you in? Where are you joining us from in the world tonight?
I am in Pasadena, California, USA, for 2 years with my wife, and 2 of our kids are here. One's back in Chicago, where we are originally from, but now I'm a Californian.
Okay, awesome. So how long have you been on the Steem blockchain so far?
I think it's been just less than a year I've been on, and it's been a great experience. It's been the best blogging, publishing platform I've ever encountered. It's really phenomenal.
Now, do you remember, okay, so you've been here almost a year. It's about the same as me, actually. I was looking at that today. Next month will be my 1-year anniversary on Steemit. But yes, you've been here about the same amount of time. What brought you over to the Steem blockchain and the Steemit website? Do you remember how you found your way here, or how you found out about it?
Well, I do a mix of both publishing, art, and then also trading. So not just stocks, but also some cryptocurrencies. And I was reading about this thing called Steem here and there. I didn't really get too much into it until I found more and more people like the Jerry Banfield and a few others writing about it. And then I saw artists on there. but they were getting exposure, and it just seemed like a way to just level the playing field and just start and reach new audiences. So I got some Steem, and my wife and I got on there, and we've been on there ever since. It's been really.
So tell us a little bit more about the content that you like to create. So did you say, were you a creator of content and things, or blogger or anything like that before you joined Steemit? Or was the Steem blockchain your first real big experience with doing this type of stuff?
Yeah, so I've been a cartoonist since actually 1980s. So I'm dating myself, but and it was, it's mostly just print media, and then the web came around, and so I've tried different. I was on Blogger for years, and do a little bit of social media, but and I put out books. So I've done all that, but really nowhere near the, I guess, exposure level that I think just the community and ecosystem that Steem has, that I haven't had that anywhere else on the virtual world. In the comics world, I would go to convention years ago and work, and it was all that. But now it's the convention scene is not really what I'm doing anymore. So it's nice to have a virtual way to do this. Steemit is like one big convention.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear you put it in that type of perspective. So you were traveling around and doing these conventions, and of course that grind, I'm sure, gets tiring after a while. And if you're in the same area, you might see a lot of repeat faces or something like that. But here, you're interacting with people from all over the world. It is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. It's so much like the convention and what I would call the zine scene of the late 80s and 90s that I was part of. So I don't know do I need to explain what zine scene even means, or does everybody know what that means?
I'm not familiar with the term.
So in 80s, basically that's when photocopying became a lot more prevalent, and you saw copy shops come up. And again, this is well before the internet. And so what creators would do, I was a cartoonist at the time, and brand new, fresh out of college in the late 80s, and it was hard to break into the publishing field. Everything's print. There's all these gatekeepers, so to speak, these big distributors. So you could bypass all that by just going to the copy shop for real cheap, making your own, what was called a zine, as in magazine, ZINE, and you could print it up for cheap. You go to local record shops. Yes, record shops were still around back then. Bookstores and cafes, and all of a sudden you had distribution, and next thing you know, you had people writing to you with real mail, and different readings and conventions for this kind of stuff. It branched off into mini comics, and it was a very it wasn't really a formal network. It was very informal, a lot like what you see on Discord, kind of do-it-yourself kind of thing. Kind of an ongoing convention, but it was more scheduled. And so then economy and things like that, people would come together and trade. They'd also exchange. And this same atmosphere is a lot like what I see Steemit is. Steemit, to me, is the zine scene of the late 80s and 90s that I was a part of. So I think this is amazing.
So I was wondering, did you create the Silly Daddy comics before you joined Steemit, or is that something that you started when you came here?
That's something I've been doing since 1992. I became a dad in 91, and then started writing comics about that experience, both the good and the bad of it, and in print comics mostly. So then just moving over to Steemit, whatever platform I'm on, I just put some of the more one-panel things on there. Steemit is just an extension of this, but that's my main place now. Like I actually folded up I had an old blog on Blogger. I folded that up, and it's just now a landing page to sell the books that I have. I actually took all my old posts and made them private, link to books that I've made. And I just have that and a Patreon site. But really the main excitement is because it's the level of interaction and the built-in economy and social network aspect of it is really, it's in Steemit now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a whole new world for a lot of content creators because it's, again, like you said, it's a new audience. It's a new way of sharing the content that you can create and the different things that you're doing. And it's really amazing how it's creating so many different opportunities for people all over the world.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, I've contacted some of my art buddies and told them about it. And these are people that would do amazing on Steemit. These are super talented people, but a lot of them are still, tied into, well, I use Instagram, I use Facebook, and I'm happy with that. And people are going to realize they're kind of missing out if they're not in on this platform. It really is the place to be.
Right, and I mean, in all fairness, all these different platforms have their purposes and whatever. We're not trying to talk bad about anything here, but we're just saying that our experience here on the Steemit website and on the Steem blockchain, and this is still early on. I mean, the Steemit website's still in beta, right? So I'm sure it's going to evolve and change more over time, I would assume. And other applications and other services and things I'm sure will probably pop up and are already out there on the Steem blockchain. And it'll, I'm sure, just continue to grow and change and evolve, and hopefully more people will see it and it can possibly help them. Of course, everybody's going to have a different experience here, and as we always say, do your own research. But in our experience so far, it's been quite positive.
Yeah, me too. I've had great experience, with the exception of just a few, I think, scammers out there that tried to basically started copied my work and put it on their Steemit, and it was quick to get this taken care of. I downloaded it, or whatever you call it, and it was taken care of. So it's a great community. I like the whole meritocracy aspect of it, and that it takes patience to kind of work your way up and get to know who's who, and it's not out kind of environment. So I like that it's for people who want to invest in the network, whether that be with time or with actually buying, the digital asset called Steem and then powering up and that sort of thing. So I like that you could do either one, and there's benefits if you just do one, and there's benefits if you do both. So platform.
Absolutely. And and it's, again, everybody's going to have a different experience here, but it's so neat that, artists and musicians and people who are very talented, and maybe they've tried to share their content on other platforms to their family and their friends and people, and maybe didn't get the reaction that they had hoped for, and now they're finding a whole brand new audience here on the Steem blockchain. I think that's really amazing, because growing up, I've dabbled in various things from music to art and things like that. And I know the people who are very creative out there and creating things, it's always sometimes a struggle when they try to monetize that creativity sometimes. And it's interesting how the Steem blockchain and the Steemit website and the blogging and all these different things that people can do, whether they want to do live streams or photos of their work, the creation process, all of these things are available to them now because of the Steem blockchain.
Yeah, it really is a new world. I can't. I'm very grateful that we created this thing, because it really is. It's not the perfect environment, but it's the best thing that we have in this day and age. And I've been looking at various systems for I've been in the business for a few decades, and this is by far the best platform I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. And for artists, it's not always easy to find connections. And here on the platform, they are so welcomed that it's just like you come home. You finally find this place where you can share everything from your niche, and they embrace you like you have, that you have your place.
And that's so important. I mean, you just need a place where you can put your stuff out there, and you can respect what you're doing, and new people can potentially find it too. It's such a huge thing for creative people to be able to share their work. Whether it's for money or not is a separate issue, but people I just make something and I just want to show people, hey, look at this. But I don't like the if I do that, some other company is going to monetize it with ads that I really don't get any cut of. So what I like with Steemit is you can do that, and there is an incentive built in so that the creators can get some form of compensation for what they're doing there. So it's just it's a great model.
Absolutely. Again, everybody, we're visiting with Joe Chiapetta right now. I've just shared his link to his Steemit profile in the chat, so you can certainly check him out there on Steemit. And if anybody has questions in the audience for Joe, feel free to put those in the audience chat right now on Discord. Of course, if you're listening to the recording after the fact, after April 4th here, well, you'll have to join us next time, and you can chat with us in the audience as well. But right now, we are live here on MSPWaves Radio, hanging out with Joe Chiapetta, and if anybody has questions for him in the audience, certainly let us know. Joe, are there any, kind of specific projects that you want to talk about while you're here on the show that the audience might be interested in, that you have on your Steemit blog so far that you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I have a few things that I've been cooking up, and some are active now and some are in various stages of development. The main thing, of course, is the Silly Daddy comics. So anybody can, go to the Steemit page and see the various comics. It's not something where you have to read them all to get it. They're all self-contained. I think there might be a few exceptions, but every one is self-contained comic strip or comic panel or artwork that I've drawn. And it basically, it is that it promotes just a positive view of family-friendly comics that, people can show their kids, they can show their grandparents, they can, show their spouse, and it's just fun, lighthearted stuff that is positive. So that's the kind of work that I do now. And then, of course, it also a lot of my posts link to the book. I just put out a book collecting stuff, the comics that I've done since 2005 to now. It's called Silly Daddy Forever. You'll see in the Steemit poster, actually in the book, but most of it is that I'm posting on Steemit is new content that's not in the book. So that's one of the main things. And then the other thing that I'm doing is in collaboration with Ecosystem, and BitCrystals is another cryptocurrency. And they have created this system, issue your own rare digital art. And I've written a few articles about this, and I believe it's going to be the future, combined with stuff like Steemit, it's going to be the future of revenue streams for creative types like myself, artists, cartoonists, that sort of thing. The whole concept of rare digital art, which is basically means it's on the blockchain. There's a limited amount issued, and you could see how many pieces are issued. So it's the main thing it's similar to is if you could think of like a limited edition print. So let's say Picasso makes a lithograph. It's 50 copies and signs those 50 copies. And then some dealer sells those 50 copies. And they're rare. They destroy the plates. There's no more. Limited edition art. Well, until the blockchain, there was no way to do that. You could just copy paste and you could, everybody has it. But with the Book of Orbs, which is the wallet that BitCrystal system uses, you can actually issue your own rare digital art on the blockchain, how many there are, and it's a built-in marketplace, so you can actually sell a limited edition run of some digital art that you create. And I've issued 2 pieces, and the third one's coming out in the next few days on their app called Book of Orbs. It's a really neat platform, and I believe more artists will be getting involved in the whole rare digital art movement and creating these limited edition pieces that they could sell, they could trade, they could send to people. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
But I don't know if there's any questions about that. That was kind of a mouthful.
Yeah, no, it sounds like an interesting thing, and it'll be interesting to see how that develops and see what happens with that. I mean, of course, we're not directly affiliated with any of these projects or anything, but it's always cool to hear the different things that are possibly happening out there in the universe of Steem and the Steem blockchain and blockchain in general. You know, there's so many different coins now and different projects happening, and it's cool again to see that people who are creating things like art and music and all these other things are finding new ways to share that content with the world, but yet have it be, you know, unique and track it with the blockchain and all these things. All of that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it is. Like I never imagined such a thing would be possible. When the internet came out, I didn't know whether to be glad or not to be glad, because it kind of makes it and also for film too, it kind of makes it very easy to copy stuff, and ownership is kind of out the window because of the whole, you could copy stuff easily. But now that these blockchain systems have put that in place and put it back on the map, it's nice to be able to issue stuff that, you know, oh, here's the record that this was issued by the artist. Well, I'm going to support that artist and buy something from they're supporting. So yeah, I think more artists are going to get on these various platforms. I think Dada New York City also has one. Others that are out there. But yeah, so far the one I'm using is it's called Book of Orbs, and it's I really like it. I would definitely recommend more people look at it and see if it's right for what they want to do. And there's going to be more of these that pop up because the opportunities really are this is like just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, that's certainly interesting. Go ahead, Snekky. Or was that you talking? Sorry, I thought you were saying something, Snekky. I didn't want to cut you off there. I apologize.
No, I didn't do anything.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. All right, everybody, we're hanging out with Joe Chiappetta right now. And if anybody has other questions for Joe, certainly let us know. Shout out to everybody who is listening right now on MSPWaves Radio. It's wonderful to have you here with us. It's almost 6:30 Eastern Standard Time right now, which means it's almost 10:30 UTC time. And we're hanging out here again with Joe Chiappetta here on the show. Let's see here.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm wondering, if you are drawing, do you draw digital or do you also use, pencil and paper?
My preferred way to draw is ink and a brush on paper. I don't do that as much anymore. I still do it, but my preferred way to draw is actually using the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, Procreate. And there's I've found that to be pretty versatile. It's probably the most like real media that I've found. mix it up. But there's nothing like real life. So, but there's also nothing like the undo feature of of a digital drawing program. So you have your trade-offs there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's a iPad now, a drawing pad where you can put paper on and draw on real paper while making things digital. Have you seen that?
Amazing. No, I haven't, but wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, I just bought a drawing pad, and just 2 or 3 weeks later, I saw this one, and I was like, "Oh no, I should have waited."
That's how it always is with technology.
Always, always.
Yeah, yeah. I recently saw your charcoal drawings. They're excellent. I really like them. And you could mimic some of that with digital art, but there's nothing like real life. You can't replace it.
No, you don't get your fingers dirty from doing digital drawing, and I kind of miss that.
Totally know what you mean. I totally know what you mean. Here in LA, though, we're in the LA suburbs, and real estate's pretty expensive, so the places are smaller. And what you can afford in LA is than what you can afford almost anywhere else, and so because of that, the concept of having studio space, it's not like I have an extra table where I just leave out all my art supplies. I have to tuck them in when I'm done. And because of that, it does make digital a lot more, I guess, user friendly, because you can just grab it, turn it on, and you have all your supplies right there in your toolbox. But yeah, I do also go on little outings. Sometimes my wife and I will go on a date to the park, and we'll sit and I'll draw her and some of the flowers and stuff like that. So there's nothing like that.
All right. Let's see if we've got any questions in the audience. I'm not really seeing any specific ones, but if anybody does have any last-minute questions for Joe here on the show, certainly let us know. Did you have any other things planned, Joe, that you wanted to mention that people can watch for, kind of coming up on your blog or anything like that?
Yeah, there's some things I'll be doing. I've done a little bit towards this too. There's another project that I'm working on with my wife and a few others, and it's a disability awareness campaign. So for years, I worked in the disability industry with disabilities get jobs. There's a lot of discrimination in that field. And sometimes the job market can be harder because of stereotypes and myths that employers have. So we're working on here in LA in partnership with the church we're part of is just a disability awareness campaign within the church. So that what that means is practically for Steemit users is I'm going to be posting some of that content, groups more accessible. Obviously, when I say disability awareness, a lot of people think, oh, yeah, well, we have a ramp and we have this and that. But it's more than that. It's more about programmatic accessibility and full inclusion to whatever's happening, and how people that maybe don't have the full range of disability experience, how they can make their meetings more accessible to people with disabilities, more geared towards full inclusion. People are doing so. We'll be posting some best practices and stuff like that. And that's not going to be the main thing we're going to be doing, but as we create that content for the group that we're doing the disability awareness campaign for, we'll be putting that there too. So I'm excited about that.
All right, well, that's great to hear. It's always exciting to see new possibilities and the different things that people are able to do to actually help others, because of the work they're doing on the Steem blockchain. I always find that really awesome to see that. Let's see here. Any last questions for Joe here? Or Joe, did you have any? We always try to give people a chance to do shout outs. If you got any other Steemians you want to give a shout out to, or any other groups that you hang out in, or anything like that you want to give a shout out to while you're here?
Yeah, definitely want to say hi to all the Steem USA folks, and that's a great group. And also comics group. Those are some great people, as well as the Trial by Comics group. Yeah, there's just so many great groups on Steem, and of course, my wife is, and she's none of this would be possible without her. She also writes on there. She's super talented. She's edited probably almost every book I've ever written, and she also creates some great content.
What's her username? Your voice cut out for a quick second when you said her username.
Denise Chips.
Okay, maybe there we go. Perfect. You typed it right out in the chat for us. Denise Chips. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like potato chips, but Denise Chips, and that's like our nickname. Sometimes it's hard to pronounce, so that's why sometimes we just use the word chips.
Perfect. Well, your voice cut out for half a second there when you said it, so I wanted to make sure we got that in there. So continue on if you got any other shout-outs you want to give.
Oh, sure. And there actually is some boy, what is her username? I love her stuff. Her username is, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it's Junko. I think I'll write it in the chat. Dark Eyed and then Junco. Yeah, I think that's Dark Eyed Junko. She's somebody that is super creative, great writer too. Just posts her sketchbooks, and this is one of the things I really love about Steemit is, if you're at a convention, and usually the artists will have their sketchbook there because they'll be sketching, and so sometimes you'll ask, "Hey, can I see your sketchbook?" And on Steemit, like this person is Dark Eyed Junko or Junko. I don't know, I'm not sure. Does that? It's a lot like that whole convention experience. Hey, sure. I'm gonna get a little behind the scenes look at what you're working on. So she does a lot of that sort of thing, and I like the type stuff that you could see on Steemit. So yeah, there's another shout out there, and then of course I'm always looking for more people that want to do and are doing on Steemit ages, family-friendly comics. Because I have kids, I like to read some of this stuff with my kids, and so there's some great content on Steemit. But sometimes it is, either maybe there's some swearing in there and that sort of thing. And I understand that some people are drawn to that, but I like to read stuff that's really all ages. So I'm always looking to help upvote and promote people who do that as well. So let me know if anybody has that. I definitely want to shout out those folks too.
All right, awesome. Well, that's great to hear. So yes, everybody, we've shared Joe's Steemit profile a few times in the chat. We'll share that one last time here, and we got some people saying that they're following you now, Joe, and they're appreciating some of the posts that they're seeing and your YouTube and things like that apparently out there. So that's a good thing. And yeah, so people are excited to see the Steem USA shout out. And it's been certainly great having you here with us. Snekky, did you have any other questions for Joe before we let him go?
Well, yes, actually, you do the speed drawings as well. Do you use a normal webcam for that?
Hey, I'm glad you asked that, because frankly, it's one of the main reasons why I bought this iPad Pro. Got to understand, I'm a Windows guy my whole life. I mean, and I'm 50, so there's not likely I'm going to be changing over. This iPad Pro with this program called Procreate, which you can only get for Mac, has it built in on there with your Apple Pencil and the iPad Pro, and it automatically, without doing any webcams or anything, it automatically records all your steps. And then you could export that. It's all built in. It's not like you have to get anything. You could export that as a video and connect to the internet, and in just a few seconds, you have it on YouTube without doing any editing or anything. So I'm sure that once more artists realize this, they'll be doing more speed drawings. I think that's just what I think it's called, speed drawing. I don't know what else to call it. If anybody knows, please let me know. It's not really painting because it's just it's just a drawing. But if there's a better term for them, I'd love to know. But yeah, that's how I do it, and I definitely recommend that for anybody who wants to replay.
That is totally amazing.
It really is. And there's a charcoal thing too that really does mimic charcoal pretty well. I noticed you use charcoal in some of your recent work. So yeah, I didn't buy it right away. I went to the store probably about 4 or 5 times, tried it out, did a drawing on there, and then, I like this so much, so I took a little camera snapshot of it. And I'm like, I just got sick of going to the Apple store. I'm like, let me use some of these Steem earnings and go get myself an iPad. And I finally broke down, so now I have an Apple product in my house too, which is a first for me.
Yeah, it's certainly cool to see the technology, how it can change and add things to artists and musicians and people that are doing that type of work, because the technology, I mean, like you said, it will never replace what it feels like to actually draw and paint with real things, but having that added layer of technology that you can, fix mistakes and things like that is probably pretty awesome, I would assume.
Even with all the levels of technology, I still manage to lose my brushes, even with digital drawing programs.
I haven't lost any brushes yet, but yeah, I haven't been doing. I have only had this iPad Pro for 3 weeks. But it's already a hit with the whole family. Everybody. I have people over and they end up drawing on it. I'm like, hey, can I have my iPad back? It's a big hit. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly been great having you here with us today. Was there anything else you want to just mention briefly before we let you go here, or anything else you have planned, or anything else you want to mention, really?
And the way I use my Steemit blog, it's not like it's it's just comics. So I do use it a lot like a blog, but because I do professionally do comics, that's what you see the most in there. So I also do. My wife and I do shepherding in our church. So sometimes we'll write up lessons to help people grow in their character or in their faith or with finances or whatever people need, just to help inspire people. So sometimes I'll post that there too. And sometimes I'll do silly stuff like make happy faces on bagels and take photos of that. So, and there's occasional family stuff. So what I like about the Steemit thing is that it has a little of that informality to it. You could do whatever you want with it, and it's not this highbrow corporate site. You could just be yourself there. It's what I really like about Steemit.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Snekky, do you got any parting words here for Joe before we let him go?
Of course, I want to say thank you for being with us on the show, and I'm looking forward to see more of your work, and I'm going to follow you like a stalker.
I already followed you both, so yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I am now. I'll be listening more to the show, and I'm just glad that you guys could just take some time. So thank you.
Absolutely, Joe. We really appreciate you joining us tonight. So again, that's Joe Chiappetta. And Snekky, I'll share the link here one more time because I got it ready to go. And you already got it? Okay. So that's his Steemit link right there. Joe Chiappetta. You can see how it's spelled right out there. And certainly check it out if you're interested in all the things that he had to say tonight. And, if you're into artwork and comics and things like that, I'm sure you will certainly find that interesting to check out. And Joe, it's been wonderful having you here with us tonight.
Thanks so much. Take care, everyone.
All right, everybody. So that was our chat tonight with Joe Chiappetta from the Steem blockchain and Steemit website where he's got his content now. Been here for almost a year, And that was a lot of fun to chat with him.
I absolutely agree with you. I always find it so amazing to find all these artists who join the platform.
Well, of course, absolutely. I mean, and you're an artist too, and it's cool to hear the different perspectives from. It's always nice to hear other people who are doing similar things to you and see how their experience is going on the Steemit website and on the Steem blockchain, and who knows, you guys can kind of learn from each other and stuff. It's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can learn from each other so much as well.
Absolutely. So you are listening to the Steem Radio Show right now, here with Main Event and Poetic Snake. It's wonderful to have you here with us each and every Wednesday here on MSPWaves. We're here live from 10 to midnight UTC time on Wednesday nights. It is April 4th, 2018, and it's wonderful to have you all here with us tonight. We've got lots of people in the audience chatting with us on Discord, which is great to see as always. And why don't we see where people are in the world right here, Snekky? I'm going to refill my water here briefly, but let's see who we've got in the audience chat room. And if you guys don't mind, and gals, just post the country that you're listening from here right now, and we will see where you guys are in the world, and we'll kind of give you a shout out here if you don't mind, Snekky.
I don't mind, but people need to post the countries, not the flags, because then I will go crazy. I see VA, USA, ON, Canada, USA, KY, USA, Eureka. Mean Mummy is from Denmark. And I see Pensive, who is from Wales. Are there any other countries? The USA again. Australia is present as well. I'm from the Netherlands. Main is from the USA as well. I don't see any other countries at the moment. Mars, yeah, I was waiting for that. There's Mars. Is there anybody from Pluto? We have to get people from Pluto.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing random planets now, so I'm assuming people have stopped by now.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you doing that. It's always kind of fun just to see, whereabouts in the world we're reaching with this show, and it's always cool to see all the different countries where everybody is listening. It's just really fascinating. All right, well, thank you for tuning in. We've got still a little over an hour left of the show. We're going to have a couple of more guests here on the show tonight, so stick around.
Oh.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Do you want to take a few minutes, Sneck, and kind of talk to the audience a little bit and kind of see what's on their mind this week?
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
So,
do you think they will talk to us?
We'll find out. So I've noticed, of course, with the Steem price being a little lower right now and things, it does seem like sometimes people do get a little discouraged and they kind of take a little break during these times. I've noticed some curators kind of getting almost discouraged now too, because they're saying that they're not necessarily finding like posts that are under their quote unquote standards of quality and things like this. Now, of course, that's just opinion. That's their opinion. And I wonder what people think about that. I wonder do people, when the price of Steem is lower, do you think that people put less effort into their posts? Or do you think that they kind of keep that level of effort the same regardless of the value of Steem? What do you think, Snekky?
Ooh, I might hope that people keep doing the same as they do when Steem is higher. But honestly, I think that when the price is lower, you get discouraged, I can understand that it's, getting harder to put out content, not getting what you think it deserves. I don't know.
Yeah, I know I mean, me personally, I've been here when Steem was well under $1, and I've been here now with Steem over $1. I try to put the same level of effort into the content, but I have noticed, and other people are kind of chiming in too in the chat here a little bit, um, that even the curators have kind of noticed a little bit of a dip in the quote unquote quality of the posts. Now, I don't know what causes that. Again, I don't know if it's maybe people just aren't posting as often, or they're just not posting as much. I'm not sure. I mean, there are applications out there now that are utilizing the Steem blockchain that do very short posts. So it is kind of a challenge for people who are creating content, I would assume, when they see short posts, getting rewarded. They say, well, why do I need to post a big long post, right, or something like that? But I think it's really going to be specific to the content you're creating.
Yes, I think so too. I have to say that I still find good quality posts, though. Every day I scan the platform and I do my thing, and I still find it.
I did as well. I mean, of course, everybody has their own standards as to what they consider to be a quality post. I always tried
Yes.
to put myself in the shoes of someone who was new, and when I find a post, I mean, I'm going to check it on Google to make sure their images are original or whatever, the text is, not plagiarized and things like this. And if they are at least creating original content and I got some kind of value out of it, so whether it's entertainment value or it was something funny or whatever it might have been, as long as I got something out of it, then I try to at least, vote on those things. If it's a super short post, like if it's one picture, it is hard to want to put a vote on that when you know that there's other things out there that, have people have put a little bit more effort than that into it. But then sometimes maybe they're just a newer user and they don't know that. They just shared something quick thinking this is like other social media where they just dump and run and put something quick and then they're out. And that might be just knowledge of, people learning more about how this system works a little bit more and kind of the culture of Steemit and the Steem blockchain.
Yes, and I think there's a lot of discussions going on about the value a post needs to bring value to the platform, and I always wonder what is this value? Is this value when it goes about crypto? Is it value when you tell a true life story, or is value also in a meme that is created by hand? Not from a picture from the internet, but totally made, personally made. Is that value as well? I find that very intriguing because I think it is, in my opinion, some cool artwork, a drawing. And if someone shares one drawing, a picture of their drawing, it can tell a whole story and it doesn't need 1,000 words. So I am conflicted and intrigued to see how other people think about that.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody has the right with their Steam power to use it how they want. I mean, if they want to upvote things, they can. If they want to downvote things, they can. Um, I do wonder, though, I don't necessarily like it when people they feel the need to decide what is the quality content for everybody else. Like, well, that's a you know what post or whatever. Well, that might be your opinion kind of thing. So just don't vote on it. Or if you think you need to downvote it, that's your right to do that. But if you don't like it, maybe just don't vote on it, I guess, is my opinion on it. And if you do like it, then you can vote on it. That's the beauty of this platform, is there's such a wide variety of things you can do on here and wide variety of opinions of everything, that if somebody doesn't like it, well, you can move on. But of course, if it's plagiarism, nobody supports that. If it's a scam or anything bad or illegal or anything like that, that's not going to be tolerated. People aren't going to accept that. But if you're at least trying and you're creating original content, well, that's somebody's just opinion what the quality of it is.
And for you as a curator, what makes you open up a post? Is it the title? Is it the picture?
I prefer to curate posts with original images. I want them to be original to that post as much as possible. And you can usually tell when you're scrolling through the feed, which pictures have been probably taken from the internet or recopied or whatnot. And so the image usually does catch me first. And then I read, of course, the title, what is it about? And as long as they've got me with at least a catchy image and a good title, then I'll at least go read the post. With the changes to the way the Steemit website looks like now, where you can have those large images in your feed if you want, which I prefer. The image usually is what catches my eye.
Yeah, I always look for the images as well, and then I read the title, and if I am, drawn to it, I will open it. But what do you look like for in a post? Are you strong on formatting, for instance? Is that important for you when you curate a post?
It depends. I mean, it's helpful if I see that they've actually taken the time to format the post, have some nice headers and breaking up the paragraphs and things like that. It's just more pleasant on the eyes, so I'm probably going to take the time to read it. So formatting does help, in my opinion. Of course, everything on this show is just our opinion. But, I try to see what the post is about. How much time what did they write about? Is there something there that I learned something, or I, again, was entertained or whatever? Was there something I got out of it? And that's basically it. It doesn't really matter to me how long the post is. Now, if I'm curating for a group, like, of course, we're OCD curators, and I curate with MuxieBot and Minnow Support and things. If I'm curating for a group, the standards are a little higher, and I've got to, for sure check them all for plagiarism and all these things. But if I'm just out there curating, just reading posts, as long as I'm finding some value out of it, and I can kind of tell if it, as long as it's not something that was copied or just taken from another website or whatever, so I'm not going to support plagiarism ever. But as long as people are putting in good effort, I mean, I read wide variety of topics on here. I'm all over the place, really, in the tags, looking for different stuff.
Yeah, I actually bought Grammarly so that I could scan posts for plagiarism and stuff, because sometimes you just don't know, and you think, it sounds familiar, and you can scan it, and it takes care of that. So I think that's a good step as a curator to do, to scan it for that, so you don't make any mistakes. And I made them in the past. I curated posts with plagiarism, and I took lessons from that.
So that's just something we've seen and noticed lately, but, we thought we'd mention that briefly while we're here on the show tonight. And, people, we hope you don't get discouraged with the Steem blockchain just because the price is lower or whatnot. People should be here for other reasons, really, other than just money. I mean, there's so many wonderful people you can meet here and chat with and interact with. So much awesome content you can read. And opportunities for yourself to get involved in different communities and projects and create content of your own.
Yes, and of course you can be here for the money. There's nothing wrong with that, because I think 98% of the people who are joining Steemit get in for the money. And then we always say this quote from Scaredy Cat.
What does he say? He says, come for the money, stay for the friends. Right?
Yes, or the community. I love that. There was a time that I didn't make any money at all on the platform. And I just stayed because I met amazing people, and I did great stuff, and I learned, and you discover new features and people, and that just makes everything better,
Yes, that is true. All right, everybody, you're listening to the Steem Radio Show here with Main Event and Poetic Snake. You're hearing us on MSPWaves Radio, which, of course, is part of the Minnow Support Project. You can find them both on Steemit. First one is at Minnow Support. The next one is at MSP-Waves. That's the actual profile for MSPWaves on Steemit, MSP-Waves. And again, at Ma1ne Support to find the Ma1ne Support project. Great community now of over 16,000 Steemians have joined the Peace, Abundance, Liberty Discord server to chat and network and hang out and interact with different people from the Steem blockchain. It's a wonderful community. I'm grateful to be there. I'm a moderator in there. And, geez, we've been in there now almost a year. It's coming right up, another couple of months here. And it's great to see. So, again, if you haven't checked that out yet, it's at Ma1ne Support. And you can find the full schedule of all the radio shows here on the radio station on MSPWaves.com. There's Steemians now hosting radio shows 7 days a week, and with new shows being added all the time. So certainly check it out. Again, it's on MSPWaves.com.
And maybe you want to be a guest on our show. What do they have to do for that, man?
If anybody is interested in being a guest on our show, all you have to do is send us a message on Discord. You can send us a message on steam.chat also if you're interested, if that's what you prefer, or just leave a comment maybe on one of our show posts. We always do a show post every week, of course, with the audio right on my blog, and Snek also will post about the show frequently. So if you see one of those and you want to leave a comment that you'd like to be a guest, certainly let us know, and we will chat with you and see if we can get you on the show. And again, it doesn't matter what your level of experience is with the Steem blockchain. You could be someone who's brand new and maybe you've got some questions or whatnot. That's fine. Or we would love to also chat with Steem witnesses. So if you're a witness out there and you want to chat with us sometime, it's great to have you on the show. If you're a community leader or if you've got a project you're working on, certainly let us know, and we'd be great to have you here on the show to talk about it sometime.
Yes, absolutely. And I think every story is different. So every interview is different. Every show is different. And you don't have to be shy either, because we're very nice people.
Of course, everything. Oh, yes, we are. We are. I'd say we are.
Yes. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Of course, everything you hear on this show is strictly just our opinions. This is just for entertainment purposes only. So always do your own research. None of this should be taken as advice of any kind. So.
No, never, never.
Do your own research. We're just here to have some fun here.
Yes, good times.
All right, we're just getting into the second hour here of the show. It's just after 7 Eastern time, which means it's just after 11 UTC time. What time is it in the Netherlands, Snekky?
It's 1 a.m.
Oh, 1 a.m. It's great to have everybody here with us in the live audience. If you missed any of the show tonight, or if you have to step out, or you want to hear previous episodes, just head over to my blog on Steemit at Main Event. It's just spelled with the number 1 in there instead of an I. And you can see all the previous episodes, which will link to my YouTube channel, and you could go back and listen to every episode if you really wanted to. But that's where we do our show posts as well. So if you want to support the show, we always appreciate it. And we both will post about the show various times, so you can follow us both on Steemit and check out the show posts, leave some comments. We always appreciate feedback about the show, what you like, maybe what you don't like necessarily, what you want to see changed. We're always open to feedback, so leave us some comments right on the show posts. And again, if you missed any of it tonight, I'll be doing a post right after the show tonight, sharing the live audio here. Or
you can listen again.
The recorded audio, I should say.
Yes.
So this is the Re-Steem Radio Show. Again, as we always mention each and every week, and I kind of keep this only on the show. I don't usually post about this because I kind of want to keep this for people who actually do listen to the show. If you're doing content on Steemit and you want to use the tag Re-Steem Radio, Snekky and I will try to take a look throughout the week. Of course, there's no guarantees of upvotes or anything like that, but we try to keep an eye on the tag when we can, when we're out there curating. But it's just the tag Re-Steem Radio. I will type it out in the chat here. If you just need a fifth tag on your post, feel free to use that, and we will try to take a look because we always want to support the people who are listening to the show as well.
Yes, I think that's a nice addition. Addiction? No, not addition.
Again, there's no guarantees of upvotes or anything like that, but we at least will try to keep an eye on it and check it out from time to time.
And again, we just like to try to support the people who are listening to the show. All right. Well, let's move on to our next guest here. Snekky, you want to introduce our next guest? I hope they're still here. We've been rambling here for a few minutes.
Ooh, what if they're gone?
We'll have to keep talking.
Okay. Well, let's welcome the next guest to our show. Ma1ne Snekky, are you with us?
Hey, yar.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Certainly wonderful to have you here with us. Snekky will share the link to your Steem profile here while we're chatting. Now, start off and tell us, if you don't mind, whereabouts in the world are you this evening? What country are you in?
I am in Hampton, Virginia, USA.
All right, so 2 people from the USA tonight. And how long have you been on the Steem blockchain so far?
I actually only discovered it. Well, I can't say discovered it, but I kind of got on it around January when I started. It was like I kept looking up crypto information, and then it would be a Steem post. It just kept happening more and more. I was like, well, what is this? I need to get on it.
And so is that's basically how you found your way here then, by actually finding random Steemit posts?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been into crypto since about 2011, and I've kind of taken breaks here and there. And I feel like Steem was kind of like right. It was making its big announcements and everything right when I was kind of not paying much attention, and I really regret that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You find out about it, you learn about it, and it's cool to see how people are finding their way here. I mean, every person we talk to on the show has a different story and a different way that they found out about Steemit, and it's pretty interesting that you actually found just Steemit posts themselves, and that's what brought you here.
Yeah, my really good friend Locomotive, he's in here tonight. We love crypto. We've been fans for a long time, and yeah, we just research all the time. And yeah, like I said, it was just more and more posts were from Steemit. So I was just like, man, there really has to be something here. And of course, during like the bubble, I was watching as Steem would just make these amazing runs, and it just kept getting my attention.
So tell us, were you somebody who created a lot of content before you came to Steemit, or is this your first kind of go around actually doing, blogging and creating content?
Oh no, I'm like a 10-year veteran filmmaker, music video maker. I've been making music since, all my life. I'm an internet, fan. I always have been. I've been posting things since forums, and the rave days and whatnot. So, I've been making films and music videos for a really long time. And we've just really never had a very satisfying experience with any other style of social media. And I had already kind of submitted to the fact that I knew crypto was going to be more of an avenue that our team was going to be able to utilize. I just, had no idea something this powerful was already happening at this level.
So you said you've been creating different things. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about some of the content that you like to create?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I'm a filmmaker. That's been my main motivation behind all of the art I've ever tried to make in my life. So around 2011, my friends and I got together, and we really put our heads together and made our first big film project called The Enemies You Keep. Kind of ever since then, we started discovering, musicians, or had friends that were musicians. So we just started making music videos, and then Blueprint happened to be a really good friend of mine. And if anybody knows who that is, he's one half of Soul Position, which is RJD2 and Blueprint. He's also on Rhyme Sayers, very talented and gifted person. Him and I had been friends for a long time, and he sort of just gave me a shot. And yeah, for the past 10 years, that's what we've been doing, making music videos. And then of course, music, I've always been making music.
Well, that's really awesome. And so are you finding a new audience here on the Steemit website and on the Steem blockchain that I'm assuming that you hadn't reached before, right, with this content now?
Oh man, absolutely. It actually is, it's a little overwhelming at times because, we talk about this all the time. Like we've done, videos for things like RJD2. We'll release it and we get no comments. I mean, our friends are people who know us. Of course, they know what's going on, but outside of that, we really don't get a lot of feedback. And Locomotive and I were even talking about how we've never had this many comments on things that we do. We've never had this level of engagement. So yeah, the whole access to this level of community and people around the world who we're having actual conversations with, because we've never been the kind of artists who just like to post and run away. We really want to engage the people who actually enjoy the things we do, because we want to know more about what they like so we can kind of continue to tailor our stuff towards people with similar interests.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really cool that you're able to now reach all of these different people, like you said, all over the world. I mean, I've had the same experience. I mean, Poetic Snake and I do this show every week. She's over in the Netherlands. I'm here in the US as well. These connections that we're making with people all over the world just because we found our way here to the Steem blockchain and the Steemit website. It's truly amazing.
It really is. I mean, it was even almost like an avalanche. I can actually say that right around January, Keenan Perry, Locomotive, him and I had always just kind of talked about like, what are we going to do next? Where are we going to put it? It's always just been a struggle. And again, all the other social medias, they're really self-centered based. There's no incentive to think outside of yourself. And we were never fans of that. Also, the terms and conditions. We always had major problems with putting our stuff on there, like, just because we didn't, we work really hard on this stuff. We're not trying to give it away. And we also aren't really trying to ask people to just hand us money over all the time. It's just, we never really agreed with that stuff, like Facebook, Instagram, things like that. So we've always had a hard time finding a social media in a place where here we go, this is decentralized. You have a ledger that says this is your art. You posted it here. And yeah, there's all these people who are just excited. They're incentivized to actually sit down and listen. Sit down and listen to more music beginning to end on this platform than any other platform, because I truly want to have something good to say to people.
Yeah, and everything you just said is really fascinating too, because like you said, you want to create this content. You don't want to just give it away necessarily. Maybe sometimes, you never know. But for the most part, though, you don't want to just give it away, of course. And then you don't want to just be out there, asking for money either directly. You're just saying, hey, give me money for this. But with this platform, they can decide whether they want to upvote you or not and how much they want to upvote you. And that is really cool how that works.
Absolutely. In just a little, maybe in a second here, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the teams I'm involved with. But we, especially over at Definition Music, the record label I'm on, we've always had a hard time trying to turn our customers, like our fans, into customers. It was always more of, we work so hard for them, and they really do tried their best to support us, but that's not a way we can live off of anything. This gives us a whole extra layer that, yes, you can buy our merch, you can come to our shows and pay for the tickets, and you can even hit our Patreons and all that other stuff up. But really here, yeah, like you said, all you have to do is come over and upvote, and even the more you keep in your wallet, the bigger of a upvote you get to give out, these kinds of things. I think it's really a great avenue for fans and artists to actually work together on each other's success.
And that's well said, and that's very true, because the fans can give back to the artists and vice versa. You guys can communicate in the replies, and then of course a lot of people have ventured now into Discord and these other chat services because of Steem, and it's just amazing, like you're saying, the different connections that can now happen between artists and fans and promoters and all these things now because of the Steem blockchain.
Absolutely. It's truly incredible. And one of the other things, I was just kind of talking with one of my friends who makes music today, and telling him about this platform. one of the things I've always noticed is that when a social media comes to rise, the music side of it always has the hardest time. The least amount of views, the least amount of likes you're going to get, the least amount of comments you're going to get typically has to do with your music. But on this platform with D-Sound, Atom Collector, and then, you know, Discord groups like SMA and D-Sound and MusicCoin and all these things, all this combined is really actually like you're seeing artists are getting really, really good payouts with really good responses and interactions. I mean, it's just really, it's almost like something that I've dreamt, and it almost seems too good to be true.
Right, and I mean, of course, we have to throw in there, you know, results will always vary. Not every person is going to see immediate success or success.
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
I mean, if you work at it though, and you keep posting content and trying to network too is really crucial on the Steem blockchain. You got to get out there and actually, you know, comment on people's posts, join some Discord servers, do these different things to network and grow your brand, because if not, people won't find out about you. It's really no different than promoting anywhere else. You got to get yourself out there. You've got to, again, network with people, and of course results will vary, but it's awesome to see the different things that you're able to do on here as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just incredible. And the amount of people that I've actually met over this short amount of time and who've, you know, it's awesome. It's really cool.
Well, I'll turn the mic over to you if you've got any, you know, things you want to talk about while you're here on the show, any specific projects or people or, you know, anything like that. You know, feel free to talk about anything you'd like here while you're on the show. And of course, in the audience, if people have some questions, feel free to put those out there as well. But I'll kind of turn the mic over to you now, and you can, if you've got anything specific you want to talk about, go for it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So like I said, I have a team of people who, you know, we work on films with, and then I have another team of people that I make music with. So I'll kind of try to, you know, compartmentalize both things that I'm involved with. First and foremost is my film team is called the Fringe Life Squad. And we just finished our newest film, and we're really excited about it. And the thing that we're most excited about is that we discovered this platform before we actually got a chance to release this, because now we actually have a much more laser sharp vision of how we want to release it. But yes, we're about to put our newest film on Steem, and hopefully we'll be able to go all the way with DTube and everything like that. It's really more of a technical question at this point. But yes, we want to put our film here, and we really want to like see what you guys think before we even kind of put it on Amazon and similar places like that. And yeah, the name of the film is Poster Girl. I've got two of the filmmakers here in the group with me. I dragged them over here. Keenan Perry, Locomotive, on here, and then C. Anders 74 is Chelsea. And yeah, I guess the story about the film is that it's the story of Chelsea, our co-director and writer of the film, her struggle through addiction, and basically the period in her life where she decided that it needed to be changed. So yeah, I'm going to kind of stop talking to see if anybody maybe has any questions about that first.
Yeah, and it's great to have them here in the audience with us, so welcome. And of course, shout out to everybody out there in the audience chat room right now. And it's Ace on Intrigue, right, on Steemit?
Correct, yes. Yes.
So yeah, everybody, I just shared the link there in the chat room, so if anybody wants to check out the Steem profile here while we're chatting, feel free to do so. And yes, if anybody's got questions while we've got him here, feel free to ask those in the chat. It looks like people are just listening with all ears here, so feel free to carry on here.
Awesome. So yeah, that's our next project. And then I'm also involved in a record label. It's been around for about 15 years on paper, but we've always had kind of this, you know, I met them about 7 or 8 years ago. And I actually have a blog post coming up about that, how, you know, we kind of met them and immediately I jumped on tour with them, and we've been very close since. But we've always had this approach of we're a record label, and yes, there is a money mechanism behind all this, but we're never really going to try to stay too focused on just making money. You know, we wanted to make really, really good music first and foremost, and music that actually transcends just an album. You know, of course, since, you know, we're all multimedia artists on the on Definition Music, so we we are always doing different things. So yes, we're about the Definition label just got their Steem as well as my film team. And I think we're beginning of next week, we're going to probably start doing all the kind of official, hey, this is us, here we are. We're happy to meet you guys and learn more about you.
Absolutely. So yes, if anybody in the audience has questions or anything like that, feel free to chime in. I know Snekky had to step away for just a moment. I'm not sure she's back quite yet. But no, it's certainly awesome to hear about all the different things that you're able to bring here to the Steem blockchain, that you've already been doing in your life already. That's what's always cool about this is it's giving people opportunities, as I've mentioned before, where they're maybe creating content on other platforms or whatnot, and this is a whole nother place now where they can come out here and share things and possibly be rewarded for it. And it's awesome to see so many musicians and artists and all these creative people out there finding opportunities. I think that's wonderful.
For sure, and even I'll even say that this platform is just so far different from anything else. We have always run into major struggles. We actually have a distribution deal with Amazon right after we do the Steem premiere of the film. We'll be putting it up on there, but it doesn't matter. Like it's not like Amazon is going to be throwing a bunch of marketing behind our project. These things, finding people, it's really hard. And when you put something on a platform as big as Amazon or Netflix, you almost get swallowed up by everything else that's there along with its marketing. And here you actually have, you have a lot more opportunities to, just find people who actually really want to watch your movie instead of just sort of being advertised to watch the movie.
Absolutely. And if you've got any links that you want to share in the chat for the audience, feel free to do so. I did share your Steemit link so far, but if you've got any other specific links or anything like that, feel free to share that in the chat. Are there any other projects that you want to talk about here while you're on the show, or things that you've done so far on the platform or are planning to do outside of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, if you follow me, I do a podcast about hip hop. My friend Grant and I we just recently started this. It's something we've been talking about a long time. I also am about to launch another podcast about cryptocurrency with Keenan Perry. And then, I kind of do a lot of DJ mixes. I love mixing other Steemians stuff so that they can kind of get a little bit of attention. So, always just hit me up and follow me. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab this link to the trailer of Poster Girl so you guys can kind of get an idea of what the film is like.
Awesome. So I'm curious. So you said you like to do DJ mixes and stuff. So what types of music do you like to do mixes for? Do you kind of stick to one genre? Do you like to mix it up? What types of mixes do you like to do?
Actually, that's a good question, because what I try to do is I take each mix based on whatever I'm kind of feeling that week, and I don't really have a preference of genres. So if you kind of go through on my blog here, you'll actually see I've done quite a few of these, and they're always a little different. Sometimes they're more ambient, sometimes they're really EDM focused or pop focused. And I actually have some plans to do some punk mixes and just indie rock mixes and stuff like that. I also, every now and then, I do reviews on music that's coming out. So, my biggest thing is I love art and content, and I really work hard to find good stuff. So one of the things I noticed about this platform, again, is even if you aren't an artist, you can be a good curator, and you can actually find a really strong audience and probably even make a very good rewards off of that alone. And that's something that I've always had a passion for anyway. So yeah.
And that's really cool. I do see the video that you shared in the chat. So yeah, if people are interested in checking out the movie, he's got the trailer shared in the chat room there. And let's see here.
We do plan on doing a new trailer here soon. This one actually was for the actual the IRL Meat Sphere premiere in Columbus, Ohio. And we are going to do a whole new trailer, not a whole new, but we're going to do we'll have some information of when we're going to release it here on Steem.
And they commented in the chat that you did all the music as well.
Yeah, my band did all the music. Yep, yep.
Well, that's really awesome. That's cool. It's really awesome that you not only got to work on the movie, but to do the music as well.
Yeah, and I'll actually say that when I first started making films, I always did work with other people to do scores, and I've worked with really great people like DJ Gensu and Josiah Schlater of La Dada and We Are Trees. But over time, I just started getting more into the place where I realized that, the dynamic of how we create our films, it kind of starts off with Keenan and I will start kicking ideas around, and then we'll start sort of talking to Chelsea about those ideas. And Chelsea does all our main writing. She went to OSU for film studies and with a focus in screenwriting. And what we realized is that all of the conversations that we were having about our films in the creative stages were really focused on music and the music we liked and the music that I was either tinkering with and whatnot. So I started to learn that it's probably going to be really important that, my friends and I and myself really just kind of stay focused on making the scores of the films because they're almost already being made as we make the film.
And that's really interesting. And it's cool that, you're obviously versed now and experienced that you've probably done the full facet of the filmmaking. You've seen all sides of it, really, from the music side of it to the writing it and all of it. Absolutely.
I actually Keenan and I edited this one. I kind of did the majority of the editing for this particular project. So every single person on my team, I can say, Chelsea can pick up an editing program and edit it if she needs to. Il Poetic is typically involved in almost all of our projects, and he helps out in tons of different ways. Same thing for Keenan. He's visual effects. He's a great cinematographer. He's also a good actor. We're all a very versatile team. And I guess this would be one quick moment to say that we are going to be announcing our next film project, and we're casting for it now. And we're really hoping to find Steemit a home for us to actually maybe even start raising some of the funds to make that project happen.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, no, it's awesome that this platform gives you even that opportunity to even try, to try to make those types of projects happen, with this blockchain.
Without a doubt, it's truly awesome. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how it all goes because, again, we get to actually talk about the process of the making of the film, which we usually don't do. We talk about doing it, or sometimes we'll hire somebody to do it for us. And that's worked out really well one time. But yeah, this platform really gives us a chance to, throughout the whole process, we plan on blogging about it, posting pictures, and even maybe even posting scenes briefly where maybe for 7 days people get to come and check out a scene and give us feedback and before, throughout the editing process, which and the next film that we're doing just is called Sex and Violence. The approach is going to be a very loose where we're writing the script as we're making the film, and we're doing it over a long period of time, about 6 months of shooting. And it's going to be about kind of an extension of Poster Girl, where some of the people from that film will show up in this film and that kind of stuff. We're really looking forward to hopefully build an audience as we're doing the project, much like we're putting the project together as we go along.
Well, that's really cool. We're excited to hear about it, and we'll certainly look forward to seeing all these projects as they develop, and hopefully you'll get to share them on the Steem blockchain, and like you said, maybe even find ways to fundraise and do things to get your projects going, and it's really awesome to hear all the different things that you're working on. Do you have any specific Steemians that you want to give shout-outs to, or just anybody really that you want to give shout-outs to while you're here on the show? We always try to give everybody a little opportunity to do some shout-outs if you'd like.
Oh, of course, Il Poetic, check him out. The Locomotive. Keenan here, he's actually finally made it today in this server. I kept telling him to do it. Of course, shout out to the Backfill Parties and Backfill Bot Sound Whales Photon today.
All right, awesome. Yes, no, it's wonderful to have everybody here with us tonight, here on MSPWaves and here on the Steem Radio show. And let's see, were there any questions in the audience, Snekky? I don't know if we had any specific ones. I was trying to scroll back here a little bit. If anybody does have any questions, certainly post those right now in the chat if you'd like.
I didn't see any questions, but I know that they are trying to get Shane into the movie.
Oh, really?
Would be cool, because if anything goes wrong, they can blame Shane.
Right. Exactly.
You can always blame Shane. tell Shane to DM me and I'll blame him.
He's in the audience chat, so I think he heard you.
Excellent.
Let's see. Oh, okay. We've got one question. What producers inspire you, or what directors inspire you?
For producers, that's always been just a huge hodgepodge of different people, but mostly Jay Dilla, DJ Shadow, the big trip hop community has always really got me. Burial, who kind of pioneered a lot of the speed garage-ish ambient music. Bjork is my all-time favorite musician ever. She's the greatest ever. So yeah, stuff like that. And then of course, Blueprint and all the Rhyme Sayers community. Those are a lot of my friends. Truly, I met them during the Scribble Jam era when they were really small time. And yeah, we all kind of made our friendships as we went along. And as for directors, that is, man, that's huge. That's a really big question, but I'd have to say that, like, I love early Darren Aronofsky, Requiem for a Dream, and stuff like that. But James Marandino, the director of SLC Punk is my favorite film ever. And just basically anything weird. I love Gaspar Noé, and I love, a lot of those kind of really off-kilter style filmmakers. Typically for me, it's more about a film, because you can see a great film from like Lars von Trier, who had a great, huge year. Gus Van Sant's a great example. They had great early years. Gus Van Sant's still great, but Lars von Trier, they sometimes they tend to make stuff you don't really like. So I just kind of try to focus on per film. But yeah, many people, Wes Anderson, they always kind of keep popping up.
And there's another question from False Idols. He would like to know how you got to know Blueprint and Rhyme Sayers.
I actually met, if you actually go to my page, I wrote a really long blog about how Blueprint and I met. But through the Rhyme Sayers community, now one of the things I can say about Ohio's hip hop community is each town sort of has this ambassador of music. And for Cincinnati, when I was living there, it was this wonderful person named Tammy, and she knew everybody. I mean, she knew Slug, she knew of Atmosphere, like they were super tight friends, and a lot of them got together and they put on this event called Scribble Jam. And if you look it up, it's truly fascinating. It's indie hip hop's, Woodstock, if you will. And I was just there. All my friends would always be going there, and I started meeting more people. Tammy and I were really close. But then I moved to Columbus, and Blueprint is from Columbus. And one day I saw that they were playing at this really kind of underground kind of place, and I just went up and said hello. And then if you read in my post, it took a long time. Blueprint and I kind of kept seeing each other out in the city. And then one time we found out that his best friend was really close to a DJ that I was really good friends with. And we just continued to build. It was just inevitable. We had so many similar interests that we were just bound to work together since we were from the same city.
Well, that's really awesome to hear all the history behind that, and to hear your experience, and to have you have the opportunity to be here on the show to share with all your projects that you're doing and all the different things. Let's see, any more questions out here from the audience here? Last chance here. We'll kind of do a last call for questions here, if we've got any more.
Should we ring a little bell? Like, last call.
Yep, last call for questions here, or of course, if you've got any other things you want to mention here while you're on the show.
Pineapple's my favorite pizza topping, yo.
Oh. And why is James Franco your favorite director?
Oh my gosh, don't take that man seriously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got to let them decide what questions, because they may not want to answer all of them. Who knows?
Keenan is messing with me.
Well, no, it's certainly wonderful having you here with us. Was there any other things you wanted the audience to know, or anything before, maybe just any upcoming things that you're planning other than what you've already talked about? It sounds like you're pretty busy, so...
Yeah, first off, Kubrick and Lynch, they would actually wind up that's a tie, man. They would wind up beating each other until they got tired of it. Secondly, thank you guys all so much for being on the show and all the support that I've currently had on the platform. I can definitely say that anything that has happened on my particular blog has really, like, the love has really been spread out through my team, and that's why they're here today. They're all just now getting used to this whole platform, and we're, again, we were all kind of beat down by social medias by this point, so this has really revived us, and we're really excited to be here. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely. I just wanted to give it a last chance if anybody else had questions, but I'm not seeing any extra ones come through. Poetic Snake, are you still here with us?
No, I'm in hiding.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you want to give any parting words here before we let him go?
Yes, I'm very intrigued, and I'm looking forward to Poster Girl, and I think you and your team are doing a great job so far. And I have no clue about movie making and stuff like that, so it was very interesting to hear you talk about it. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
All right, everybody. Well, we really appreciate it. And Ace on Intrigue, you can find them right on Steemit, right under that same username. I just shared the link right in the chat room, so certainly check it out if you're interested. Thank you so much to your friends that you brought with us as well. I see them in the chat, so shout out to everybody who is out there listening right now. And yeah, that was a lot of fun, don't you think, Snek?
Absolutely.
And you are listening to the Steem Radio Show with Main Event and Poetic Snake here on MSPWaves. Grateful to have you all here with us each and every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight UTC time. So we are live right now.
Yes, and there are a lot of people in the chat room.
There are. It's wonderful to see all of you. Shout out to all of you. We'll run down through the list at the end of the show, but you're gonna have to stick around till the end.
Oh, you're tough today.
I am. We're gonna do that from now on. We'll do the big shout out list right at the very end for everybody who sticks it out till the very end. We've only got.
I think that's a good idea.
We've only got 20 minutes or so left anyway. You can do it. I know you can.
Yes. Hold on, people. Keep going.
Again, if you missed any of the show tonight, I will be sharing the full audio on my blog later on this evening, so you can certainly check it out there. Leave us some comments, or if you want to re-steam that, that's awesome. That way more people find out about the show. We always appreciate that, so thank you. And let's see here. We've got one more guest who wants to jump on the show for a few minutes and chat with us. They're a returning guest. So Johnny Clearwater, if you can hear my voice, if you can jump in the waiting room here so I know that you're ready, and I'll bring you into the live on air room. So Johnny Clearwater, step right up.
Only if he has the bacon with him.
Oh, that's right. He's got to bring bacon. That's right. I forgot about that.
There he is.
There he is. All right. So let's move him in here. Live on air, Johnny Clearwater. Oh, what happened? He jumped back in there. Let's try this again here. Live on air. There you go, Johnny. Can you hear us now?
Hello.
Hello. How you doing, sir?
Good.
It's great to have you here.
Bouncing me out of the waiting room, so I wasn't sure if it was working right.
No, you're here. You're live on air. So welcome to the show once again, Johnny Clearwater.
How you guys doing, man?
We are doing wonderful. How are you? How's the show going for you?
The show's going really well. Just got back from spending a week in Missouri, and man, the Steemians we did episodes with up there. It was fucking great, man.
So tell us again, remind the audience what it is you're doing, because you've got a new show where you're actually going out and you're meeting Steemians in person, in real life, and you're hanging out with them, and tell us a little bit more about the show.
Okay. I feel like I'm almost beating a dead horse here, but I do Hots or Shots. It's a show that tomorrow, so we air every Thursday, and tomorrow is episode 5 that's airing. Our trip to Missouri just had us wrap up filming up to episode 14. So I travel around the world, in the States right now until we get into season 2 or season 3, where I'll start going international. meeting Steemians in person, doing interviews with them. They consist of 10 random open-ended questions. The show starts with a coin flip. The coin flip decides if the episode is going to be hots or shots. If it's hots, before every question, we eat progressively spicier foods. If it's shots, before every question, we drink bourbon.
Sounds like an interesting time for sure. So yeah, they can check that out right on your Steemit blog, right? Snekky just shared the link to your Steemit profile, so that's where they can find it,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And the newest episode will air tomorrow. Every Thursday, I put up a new episode.
All right.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it. Who can you reveal who the guest is?
So it's a new user that I onboarded, a personal friend of mine. He is an old heavy metal rock legend, actually. Old metal band from the late 80s, early 90s called Celtic Frost. He's a good buddy of mine, and we actually have a few things planned that we're going to do together on this platform. But so I onboarded him. He just really posted like one or two things so he could have something on his page when his episode aired, because we're more doing some behind the scenes work together to bring to the platform. But yeah, that's my guest tomorrow, Kurt Victor Bryant from Celtic Frost.
All right, very cool. Now I know you wanted to jump on the show for a few minutes today. Was that what you wanted to talk about? Was the show, or did you have another project you have going on?
No, sort of the show, but something much more specific. So as I said, we just got done filming episode 14, and I am on the hunt for more Steemians. The post that Snekky just threw up has a listing of 9 different states that I'm seeking Steemians for, so that I can start making plans to make trips. However, on top of that, very specifically, I am looking right now for Steemians in Louisiana or Florida. So the message I wanted to get out to everybody, because it's a community project. It's for this community, and especially this being the first season, I need help from the community. So if anyone in the audience is from Louisiana or Florida, or knows another Steemian that's from Louisiana or Florida, and there's interest in doing the show, I'm asking all of you to help me find some. I have 3 guests scheduled for Louisiana so far, and for every trip, I need to have at least 5 so that I cover my expenses. So I'm looking for 2 more. I can do up to 4 more. Claiborne, one of the regulars in here.
Yes.
He's on board. He's going to be doing an episode with me.
Nice.
And then a couple other people that aren't known in this channel, but are making little waves on Steemit and getting themselves known. But yeah, I'm looking for a few more. Very, very specifically though, Louisiana and Florida. The post that she put up has 9 states, and I am looking for Steemians in all 9 of those states. But yeah, any help from the community that I can get to line up some more guests and keep this show rolling.
Yeah, there's definitely Steemians in Florida. I know that for a fact. I have. There's
right now I'm making loose plans to shoot over and do an episode with Cubby.
Ooh, really?
She's getting together with a few Steemians over by her, I believe, over the next couple of days, and she's going to pitch it to them. But Florida's where I'm at, so I can always do a trip in Florida. There's
right.
really no place in Florida I can't be in within 6 hours. So it's not the same thing as like needing to plan a trip to some of the other states, because for me to do that, like I said, I need at least 5 guests. We book giant Airbnb houses for to accommodate everybody coming together. Sometimes we have, we cook up dinner and everybody gets together. It's like a small Steemit meetup, realistically. So yeah, like I said, I know you have a good following on this show. I know, because I listen too. And I just thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to reach out to some people, because there may be people in this audience that I haven't chatted with yet, or they may have another friend that I don't know of at all, and they might be able to help me out.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Shane and some other people are chiming in the audience, mentioning some different Steemian usernames that are in Florida. I'm not sure if I know any specific ones that are in Louisiana. Trying to think, but like he said, if anybody's got any users that might be interested in doing that type of thing, certainly get a hold of Johnny Clearwater.
You can direct message me here on Discord. You can drop message in my comments of the post that Snekky put up. I can also be contacted at hotsershots@gmail.com. I'm just reaching out to the community to find more of the community.
So I'm curious. So when you say you eat progressively spicier foods, how spicy is the 10th thing? Like, how extreme does that get?
How familiar are you with Scoville units?
I'm not, so this is why I'm wondering. I've heard of like ghost peppers and those types of things, but I don't know. I don't know how extreme with your spiciness you're getting here.
The first couple episodes, I had one lineup of sauces, and after doing those episodes, I knew that I wanted to change a few of them up. All right, the last sauce on the first couple episodes is about 1.5 million Scovilles, right around there. It's a little bit higher than that, but it's right around 1.5 million Scovilles, and that on camera made 3 grown men cry.
I believe it.
I've since changed that lineup. That sauce is still on the show, but it's no longer the last sauce. The last sauce is now 3.2 million Scovilles.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's... so, how does that work? Do you, like, put it on, like, a chicken wing or something? Or you just got to taste a little sample of it?
It actually, the food that we decide to use comes to the guest.
Okay.
I like to deal with local restaurants, local establishments, local delicacies, things that are popular for the region, or just favorite foods of my guests. So there's no food set requirements by any means. Basically, when we go to break after the coin flip, we discuss what it is that we want to do. We usually order or we cook it up, and we make a nice little event to the whole thing. And then once the food's laid out, they are slathered with hell.
Well, it's certainly interesting and different for sure. And I think it's really cool that you're getting out there and traveling and meeting different Steemians and actually getting to meet them in person. And like you said, almost have like mini Steem meetups.
This Missouri trip was amazing. Gifted Gaia, Psycho Chica, Winston Wolf, although he didn't make it for an episode, he did come hang out with us. Papa Pepper, Instructor 2121, Tiger Gamer. I mean, we had a whole bunch of us all together. After that was all done, though, on the very last day of our trip, some of the oldies here may remember the STP podcast that was run by Gifted Gaia, Psycho Chica, and Winston Wolf. It ran for about a year. It was very popular, and it was a great show. They all decided, while we were all in town, to rebirth the STP podcast. I'm not saying that this is a permanent thing. However, 9 of us all gathered together at Gifted Gaia's house, and we did a new episode of STP. It is going to be a 2-part show. They're working on the editing now, and as far as a release date for that will be for them to decide and to announce. But there is new STP podcast coming, and we're all really excited to be a part of that as well. Papa Pepper, when he came and visited, Papa Pepper has a little short segment series that he does where he does a quick interview of Steemians he gets to meet. So when he came out to the house, he did interviews with all of us there as well. Anybody that follows Papa Pepper will have seen actually him posting them the last few days. So the Missouri trip was awesome. It was a really, really good time.
Well, that's really exciting. It's cool to see that you guys were all able to do that and actually able to get together and all create content together. I think that's really awesome. I mean, I can't think of any other, platform or social media platform that I've ever experienced that did anything even close to that, where people were actually, getting together and doing these types of things. I think that's really cool. Does anybody have questions in the audience here for Johnny about the hots or shots? Or again, if you've got some Steemians who you think might be interested, certainly you can message him on Discord, right? Is that the best place for them to message you?
Yeah, like I said, they can message me here. They're always welcome to message in the comments of my posts. Hotsorshots@gmail.com. However you need to get a hold of me, get a hold of me. help me grow this show for this community, because I'm making it for all of you.
Do you see the question Scuzzy has in the audience chat?
Actually, so the last sauce that I use has a really strong amount of that extract in it. That's what makes it as strong as it is. I wanted to comment on something else too. I didn't get to hear all of Asen's interview, but I was very intrigued by what I did hear, and I hope he's listening still. If he is, I'd like him to know that as he progresses with his new film project, I'd really like him to keep me updated. I spent years in the entertainment industry, and I have distribution deals, not only through UMG, but with Netflix as well. So if you have a legitimate project, I might really be able to help put more eyes on it.
All right, that's awesome. Let's see.
Other than that, I just came to fuck with you guys and see how you've been, man.
We're doing great, man. We're just doing this weekly radio show every week, and no, it's great to have you jump on and give us a little update. We always appreciate people who want to do that, who want to jump on the show and update us with their projects. Even if you've been a previous guest before, that's totally fine. If we've got the time, it's always great to chat with you. And I think it's really awesome that you're actually reaching out and you're traveling and going out there and meeting these different people. You know, I'm a little envious. I wish I could do that too. It's pretty awesome.
One of the cool things I'm enjoying about it too is so my family comes with me on these trips, and my wife meeting all of these Steemians has encouraged her to start posting a little more. So like she just made a post that was pretty cool. It was the happy wife, happy life part of the Missouri trip. Her favorite author as a kid was Laura Ingalls Wilder, and the whole Little House on the Prairie series, and the Laura Ingalls Wilder house is in Missouri as well. So while we were there, we took a trip out to there, and she made a post about that. Liberty Minded, who is my editor / producer for the show, it's Liberty Minded. He made a post not only in regards to the house that we rented and the trip and the people that came out and visited us, but we also went to a place called Fantastic Caverns, which was awesome. And he's an incredible photographer as well. So he put up a couple posts. Psycho Chica posted about coming out. Papa Peppers posted about coming out. It's been great. Everybody's been interacting, and it's nice that we're able to bounce off of each other. And it's been a really fun project so far. But like I said from the beginning here, I need help to keep it going. I need to find Louisiana is my big one right now, because I got 3 guests booked. I need 2 more or 4 more. I'll take 4 too, but I need 2 more. Florida, I'm always looking for Florida because that's where I'm at, and that's just an easy one for me.
Right.
I can't wait for you to come to Europe.
Season 3 is the plan for that. Season 2, I plan to head west in the U.S. And then, of course, you never know where Steamfest is going to be, because Hots or Shots is going to be there also. So we could end up being out of the country sooner rather than later. That's up to Roland P.
I just noticed Shane was asking where in Missouri were you guys?
So we were just outside, about 30 miles south of Springfield, in a little town called Crane. Springfield is where we wanted to go, but it was myself, my wife, one of our kids, my editor, plus Instructor 2121 and his son Tiger Gamer. So we needed a really big house, and we found this just gorgeous mansion of a place in the middle of nowhere on 10 acres. And it was only just a little bit outside of town in Springfield, where a lot of people were coming from. Psycho Chica came all the way from St. Louis. She also brought Jacob T.S. He was another guest. He, so far for me, has been the absolute funniest guest we have had on the show. He had us dying, laughing. Some of the members watching were in tears. The guy is an absolute lunatic.
Well, it's certainly wonderful to have you here. We unfortunately got to say goodbye for now. But yes, if anybody has any Steemians that are, again, either in Louisiana, that type of area, Johnny's certainly looking for more guests for the show, for the Hots or Shots. and certainly get a hold of him on Discord or have them message him. Really quick, somebody's asking what your 3 favorite hot sauces are. If you can even think of one.
Well, are we going to go with the 3 favorite that I have on my show? Because I can do that pretty easy.
Real quick, though.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go with Angry Goat Pepper Company's Purple Hippo Hot Sauce. That is absolutely amazing. Its underlying flavors are prickly pear, and it's a amazing, amazing flavor. And then it kicks you right in the dick. Then we have Rogue. Rogue is another one. It's stronger than the prickly pear one, but its underlying flavor is blood orange, and it also just has an incredible taste to it. And it's just one of those sneakers. Like, you take a bite and you're like, oh, this tastes really good. And then you're like, oh my God, what did I do? But then I have 2 on the show that I actually use regular all the time here at home. Palo Alto hot sauce. It's made by Palo Alto firefighters out in California. Proceeds of all sales of their hot sauce goes to fund their department. It's a really good sauce. It's fantastic. I mean, it's really good, and it's not one of the progressively insane hot ones. And Secret Aardvark hot habanero, also on the lower scale. It's not deathly hot, but it is so good on food, and it tastes fantastic. Those are my favorite that I use on the show.
Cool. All right, everybody, we've been visiting with Johnny Clearwater. You can find him right on Steemit at that username. Snekky has shared the blog link a couple of times there, so certainly check it out. Thank you, Johnny, for joining us on the show.
As always, thanks for having me. New episode tomorrow, guys.
Can't wait to see it.
All right, everybody, so that was Johnny Clearwater. We are running out of time here, so we want to thank all of our guests who were on the show tonight. Thank you to all of you. It was wonderful having you all here. If you did miss any of the show tonight, you can certainly check out the recording that I'll be posting on my Steemit blog shortly here, right after the show. And, of course, we always appreciate any support you can give with re-steams and comments and replies and things like that. We always appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much. Snekky, do you want to say anything to the audience before we say goodbye here?
I want to thank our guests. Again, amazing. And I want to thank everybody in the audience who supported us again by being here. And I hope to see you all next week.
And, of course, everything you heard on the show tonight was just our opinions. This show is done for entertainment purposes only. We are not experts of anything. We are not financial experts, and this is not financial advice. Of course, MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the show hosts or our guests. Statements and show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station, and the material you hear on the Re-Steam Radio Show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only.
Do your own research.
Always do your own research. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, always. We promised to do the running down the list names.
Yes, I see Breeze out there. Is it Sea Randers, or is that how I would say that, or is it? I want to make sure I'm probably going to mispronounce names. I apologize. I see Crimson Clad, Globo Cop. I see Hayes out there. LK's out there. Marion West, Menno, Petchy, who got us on the show tonight. Thank you, Petchy. Pensive. Puppies out there, Torco, Rondon, Robo Raver. You want to jump in here, Snekky?
Yes, Scuzzy, and I see Shadows Pop. I see Shane. Hello, Shane. I won't give you the blame. I see Soundwaves, Photon, Stacy Jane, that Sweeney guy, and I see the Buck IQ.
And I know other people were listening on other platforms as well, so shout out to you as well and people who maybe have come and gone since we started. But again, we're here every Wednesday, 10 to midnight UTC time on MSPWaves Radio, which is part of the Minnow Support Project. Find the full schedule of all the radio shows at mspwaves.com. And, of course, find out more about the Minnow Support Project. Find them on Steemit at Minnow Support. I go by the username Main Event on Steemit. It's just spelled with a number 1. She's Poetic Snake.
That's me.
And we certainly appreciate all of you joining us here. This is the Re-Steam Radio Show. We're counting it down here. We've got less than a minute to go. I believe DJ Damashi comes on us after this show here on MSP Waves. I'm assuming he's coming on tonight, so if you're into EDM music and culture, you can certainly check that out. Shane, I would be all about that, what you just posted in the chat. I would talk about
Lord.
that. We'll save that for the next episode.
Yes.
But yeah, no, thank you everybody. We do this show every Wednesday night. We certainly appreciate all of our guests and everybody who tunes in each and every week. You are all appreciated. You're all awesome. So we will say so long, and please tune in next week on Wednesday night, and we'll be here for the next episode of the Steem Radio Show. Have a good night, everybody.